Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss. So get ready because there's a lot of important information coming. Before we start, we'd like to take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay up to date with all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which really strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. Commanders Insider provides hands-on insight into Terry McLaurin's extension. The Washington Commanders are about to embark on a frenetic few days that will shape the franchise's outlook in 2025. Adam Peters has his sights firmly set on free agency. There's also a lingering desire to get an extension worked out with wide receiver Terry McLaurin ahead of time. McLaurin remains an integral part of the team's on-field strategy and an undisputed leader inside the locker room. The prolific pass catcher has taken his game to new heights with Jaden Daniels under center, earning his second Pro Bowl honor and a second-team All-Pro selection. He broke the franchise's single-season record for receiving touchdowns and was a driving force in Washington's trip to the NFC Championship game. Attention is firmly focused on the draft. The Commanders also have 28 free agents with the legal tampering window on the immediate horizon. That may put McLaurin's new deal on the back burner for now, but one Washington insider believes it could happen soon. A Commanders source believes Terry McLaurin will receive $30 million per year in his next deal. The Athletic's Ben Standing thought McLaurin could get an early deal if the Commanders wanted to free up more salary cap space during an appearance on the Al Galdi podcast. He also believes Peters could wait given his healthy financial position despite trading for wide receiver Deebo Samuel Sr. One thing that wasn't on the table is the money, which could climb to around $30 million per season when the going gets tough. They don't need cap space, but whenever an extension for Terry McLaurin comes through, you'd think they'd reduce the cap hit this year from $20 to a more manageable number. If I had to guess, it probably just depends on what they agree to and whether Washington wants to create more cap space this year. I'd say later, but it depends on whether they want that cap space or not. I think the answer is yes, $30 million per season. If you're talking about brotherhood and camaraderie, part of that comes down to paying a guy, right? Who's a better role model for this place than this guy? McLaurin will get paid again by the Commanders, potentially with a deal that ensures he finishes his career in Washington. Peters recently committed $17.47 million to Samuel following his trade from the San Francisco 49ers. But that could be almost completely negated by the departure of veteran defensive tackle Jonathan Allen via release or trade. An early extension for the Ohio State product is projected to save $14.3 million on the 2025 cap. It would help attract the right recruits with their Super Bowl window firmly open. That depends on Peters' plans. McLaurin's future is not a genuine concern. He loves the organization, is beloved by the fan base, and has emerged as a major influence within the community. He's also one of the league's most consistent wideouts, something that has been emphatically enhanced as Daniels has taken the league by storm. Timing is everything. Peters could do it now and reap the benefits of the extra money. He could also wait until a little later in the summer to give the Commanders some breathing room for any additional moves later in the season. Either way is fine. McLaurin won't cause any unnecessary complications. He's a model professional who is revered among his peers. His job is focused solely on the football side of things. Eagles Super Bowl hero expected to sign $60 million deal with NFC East rival. The Philadelphia Eagles decided to give their big edge rusher deal to a free agent before the 2024 season in Bryce Huff, which ended up being a bust, and the repercussions could see their current top edge rusher go to a promising NFC East rival. ESPN predicts that Super Bowl hero and free agent edge rusher Josh Sweat will sign a 3-year, $60 million contract with the Washington Commanders that will include $40 million in guaranteed money. From ESPN, Washington needs a defensive end skilled at both rushing the passer and setting an edge against the run. Sweat just played in the Super Bowl, and Washington gives him a chance to get back there in the next 3 years with what the Commanders are building. Sweat would be just the latest veteran defender from the NFL's #1 defense to part ways with the franchise following a 40-22 win over the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, in which Sweat could have very well been named Super Bowl MVP with 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 TFL, and 3 QB hits. In recent weeks, the Eagles have already released two former NFL All-Pro cornerbacks, Darius Slay and James Bradberry, and signed NFL All-Pro linebacker Zach Bond to a 3-year, $51 million contract. Super Bowl win adds big money to Sweat's market value. Sweat's market value has jumped from a projected 3-year, $45 million contract to a 3-year, $56.4 million contract, according to Spotrac. The Eagles signed Huff from the New York Jets to a 3-year, $51 million contract in March 2024, while giving Sweat a 1-year, $10 million contract. From Next Gen Stats, Josh Sweat generated a team-high 6 pressures on 34 pass rushes in Super Bowl 59, including a career-high 2.5 sacks. Sweat recorded 4 of his 6 pressures on early downs, including all of his sacks. Huff had 2.5 sacks in 12 games in 2024. Sweat led the Eagles with 8.0 sacks and has 25.5 sacks over the past 3 seasons. Pro Football Network currently lists Sweat as the third-best NFL free agent available in 2025, and with the Eagles looking at just $18.9 million in projected cap space for next season, something has to give. From PFN, the lack of elite pass rushers in this class increases Sweat's overall value in free agency, given the impact the pass rush can have on a game. Also playing into Sweat's hands is an impressive 16.8% tackle rate, which makes him the most complete pass-rushing weapon in free agency this year. While he's not in the class of TJ Watt or Micah Parsons, Sweat is a solid option for any team looking to add a weapon to their defense. Commanders should pursue this veteran pass rusher. Originally published on Last Word on Sports, one of the top positions the Washington Commanders have been eyeing this offseason is defensive lineman. Now, with the news that veteran Jonathan Allen will be released, the Commanders will certainly be looking for his replacement. Allen just turned 30 in January and was injured for part of the 2024 season. Fortunately, Washington General Manager Adam Peters has his options in free agency. One of those options is Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson, who also turned 30, recently asked permission to seek a trade with the Bengals. The 8-year veteran would be a valuable addition to Joe Witt Jr.'s defense next season. Commanders should pursue Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson's tenure with the Bengals. After spending his first 4 seasons with the New Orleans Saints, Hendrickson really broke out in Cincinnati in 2021. That season, the edge rusher finished with 34 tackles and 14 sacks, leading the Bengals' defense to Super Bowl 56. Hendrickson sacked notable quarterbacks such as Aaron Rodgers, Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, and Matthew Stafford. Since 2021, Hendrickson has been one of the NFL's top pass rushers. According to ESPN.com's ESPN research, he ranks 3rd in pressure rate during that span. Hendrickson also ranks 3rd in total sacks, 57, just behind division rivals Myles Garrett, 60, and TJ Watt, 58.5. The 2024 season ended up being the best of Hendrickson's career, as he led the NFL with 17.5 sacks and was named a first-team All-Pro. He also finished with 46 tackles, 6 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles. Hendrickson recorded 4 sacks against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 9, and then had 3.5 sacks against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 18. Hendrickson's fit with the Commanders. Commanders defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. has successfully revamped the team's defense for 2024. In Witt's 4-3 defense, Hendrickson would likely line up with fellow edge rusher Dorrance Armstrong and defensive tackles Darren Payne and Johnny Newton. Coming off his best season with the Bengals in 2024, the addition of Hendrickson would certainly bolster Washington's defensive line. Hendrickson would also play alongside linebackers Bobby Wagner, Frankie Luvu, and Dante Fowler Jr. Wagner, 34, recently re-signed with Washington for 1 more season after originally signing a 1-year deal with the team last year, after signing a 1-year deal through 2024. Together, that front 7 would look even more elite against some of the NFL's best offenses. The Commanders' trade for Hendrickson could also include giving up a draft pick. According to NBC4DC's JP Finley, there is a type of compensation Cincinnati reportedly wants for the pass rusher. It involves Washington keeping the 61st and 79th picks in the NFL draft, late 2nd round and early 3rd round picks, respectively. Whatever the cost, the Commanders have the salary cap space to acquire him.